Welcome to Wedding Day Podcast with your hosts, Sonia Babich, CEO of Iron Diamond Media, a leading wedding resource featuring 7 localized wedding brands across the country.
Hi everybody, Sonia here with Wedding Day Podcast. I'm here at 440. We are here at 440 Elm in Long Beach, California, and I'm sitting here with, of course, my co-host Amanda Holder with California Wedding Day. And then also our guest today is Strictly Personal Designs. Brian and Christine, they are the owners and founders of this business, and they work on paper goods, invitations, signage, custom wedding websites. So this is going to be a fun topic to talk about and how to incorporate that with your wedding day. So hi guys.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, we bonded last year with Best Of. And you really helped us transform that maximalism theme to life, and really brought the color into the space. And I'm excited just for engaged couples to get to know both of you for one, but also just how important you are on a wedding day, from design aspect and communication too. And how, I'm a paper girl, of course, because magazines.
Yes.
But, how does that journey start, to bring, a design to life when couples or wedding planners work with you?
Do we want to talk about, how you and I first started? Because I feel like that's a good example.
Oh, I would
Brian's
love.
wedding planner.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and that's how we got into this. But Brian and his now husband, Michael, they were talking about, we wanted the Hellraiser. Save the date.
Oh wow, we're gonna go there. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna,
No, it's good. Let's tell about your story. Let's hear how you two came together.
The headline of this story is just really, there's a lot of trends and things out there, and when we were working together, and she was my wedding planner, she has a background in graphic design, and I come from that's been my profession, graphic design, is it's your wedding. We wanted something super personal for me, and my husband that could speak to that. So then it goes back to this Hellraiser thing.
Yeah, you were like, how can we like the box, the puzzle box, da-da-da. So I went home and started tinking around, and I sent it to you, almost thinking you might hate it. And then that, I think, just kicked off, what can we do? This is so cool. What can we do to personalize all of the other paper materials? Because there isn't another company that there are companies that offer custom things.
Yes.
But I feel like the creativity that we have between the two of us, and also with my background in wedding planning, definitely helps pull out of people what it is that they want to showcase on their invitations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just for the listeners that don't really know about Hellraiser and what it was. So there's this puzzle box, the lament configuration, and it's a black and gold ornate box that opens the gates to hell. But it's a really pretty box, and the reason why this is coming is because my husband writes horror movies, and I'm a big horror fan, and you are, and in my proposal that involved my dog and all this stuff, but one of the things was the ring box was this black and gold ornate box, and he loved it. So yeah, the first thing, it was just kind of this wild idea, but there was this beauty to that, and it was. It just looked very Luxe and Art Deco.
But you guys, it was exactly, us. And it was we have such sites to show you, where there was some line or something from the movie that we tied in. So it's I think it's important for your stationery people to get to know you. It's not just ordering something at mint.com where they customize, but they're not the level of customization that we do.
No,
it's actually get to know who you are as a person. And that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean you have to necessarily be in Los Angeles. We do discovery calls with people all over the country,
of course,
to get to know them. What do you like? What do you not like? Do you want to include your dog? Do you want to include your pet goldfish? Whatever you want to include in there. We like to do that stuff. We like to do luxe with a little edge to it.
Yeah, getting to know the clients, what kind of fashion they're into, just their interests and how they spend their time. And yeah, I think that's really important. And Christina's great at pulling them out of that out of them in the
your
first
just
call.
planning experience and bringing that into this is so key, I think.
Yeah.
I've been doing, 2008 is when I started planning
I was
weddings.
just gonna ask you that.
It's been a lot of this trend's coming back. I'm seeing trends from when I first started coming back, which is
It's all
which
cyclical,
is
right?
interesting.
Yeah.
To be we were anti-mason jar. Those are going to come back one day.
No.
Hopefully not soon. But I feel like eventually we're going to move out of the maximalism more to minimalism, and then more to like, hopefully not.
So what
rustic.
was the moment for you two to be like, let's do this? Let's like make a business together. Like I know helping him plan like your
We were
wedding,
breakfast.
but
We were at breakfast in the front yard, and we were starting to work on your invitation, and you were like, we're having so much fun doing this. Would you ever want to actually kick off something together? And I was like,
Yeah.
absolutely. I didn't even have to think about it.
We just had such like a creative relationship, and we the main invitation it was the save the date and the main invitation had a very like traditional classical feel to it, like where my mom or like anyone who isn't familiar with the references like loves it. I think it's definitely we go for like beauty and a lot of times like a classical look and feel. But there was we were just like looking at invitations for inspiration and coming up with like collage ideas and she's seen so many weddings and so many different types of invitations and paper goods.
Yeah.
And I think coming from my background of graphic design, worked for Warner Brothers, it was a lot of digital design and UX design for like websites and stuff. So yeah, I was definitely coming from a different perspective.
Which is great.
yeah.
Because a lot of people don't want their weddings to feel too much like a wedding. My older couples, I feel like the couples that are like late 30s to like in their 40s don't want it to feel super, super wedding-y. They want it to feel like a high fashion event. They want it to feel luxurious.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that have, I'd say, typically smaller weddings, like 100 people or less, and they're willing to spend a little bit more on their paper goods.
Yeah, we're both like runway fashion, big inspiration. I
You
think
worked
to
at
both of
Gucci,
us.
right?
Worked at Gucci, worked at Louis Vuitton, like
Yeah,
like
he's
early
fashion.
on. Early
I'm
on.
Zara shoes.
Okay,
Where
this
was
is-
this on the Q&A form?
Okay, it's like so impressive, but it's like no, it's like I graduated shortly after I graduated, and I was gonna do playwriting, but anyways, I like ended up like somehow working my way into doing sales and visual merchandising for the Gucci in San Francisco for ladies ready to wear.
That's so
So it was like,
cool.
Had a good eye.
runway looks, trunk shows, just dealing with like, and learning. I mean, like, I shouldn't have gotten this job. It was like, I had experience at French Connection before that. Like, but like someone like kind of poached me from a different sex with that.
I got poached from Sears Limited, but that's probably
Oh my
not the
God,
same
retail.
thing.
But I didn't know you.
Yeah.
But
Now you're going way back.
Yeah.
way back. So that's way back. But it's still like such an interest, and like art history. Like
That was my minor, art history.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like an interest in art exhibits, modern artists. When the California Wedding Day event, the inspiration was Matisse and maximalism. You can type that into Google and Pinterest, and there's like the basic like shapes and kind of squiggly lines. But I think we'd love to hear something like that, so we dug in and found some of his more known works, which are very maximal.
Yeah.
Which are very crazy, not crazy, but like just so original and like engaging, So we really tried to, we worked off of like specific pieces.
This
and
kind of like came to me are almost like creative directors.
I am a creative director.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
volunteer creative director, so that's
Yeah.
our dog rescue, but we don't need to get into shout out to the animal pad.
shout out to the animal
me all
pad.
the
I've been their creative
You
director.
guys are like bringing the creativeness together, like to make that visual come to life, right?
Yeah.
And communicate it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's just really important, like the collaborations with, the engaged couples that we enjoy the most is where people have a strong vision, of, or just not even like, but a personality. Like we're strictly personal designs, so getting a mood board just with, I don't know how to say it, but like
I love when people come to us with a specific
Yeah.
idea and then they want us to run. Like we did a call, it didn't work. I'm not sure exactly why, but like the playing card one that we were talking to, like that was fun and exciting to try to figure out how the heck do we do a save the date with that looked like a playing card.
What?
So we were bouncing ideas off of that. But when some come to us and they're like, we just like whites and greens,
Yeah.
those are a little more challenging because we're like, we want to know you. We want to
Right.
do something different that hasn't been done before. We don't want to just copy something that someone else has already done before. We want
Yeah,
to
nothing cookie cutter.
Nothing cookie
you
cutter.
dig into their personality and their style and what
Yeah.
excites them, and
yeah. So then like I like neutrals. I like so is it like more of like architecture, like natural stones and textures and linens and things like that? Or like what does their house look like? What kind of, what's their perspective on design?
Yeah,
What
we're doing
draws
one right
them
now
in?
based on a restaurant downtown. It's not a wedding invitation, it's a corporate event, but
Yeah.
the person of honor loves a restaurant downtown. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a Mediterranean feel with like arches and bricks and olive branches. So we're bringing all of that into all of the paper goods, even like the digital things they're going to be showing in the background of the gala.
Yeah.
So that was a fun one to say, I really like how this restaurant looks, bring it to life.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's
It's challenging
And then-
sometimes, but it's fun.
Yeah, the venue I think is oftentimes a really big source of inspiration.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think sometimes the wedding dress is a source of inspiration to help connect the theme too?
I mean,
Or not
definitely.
really?
That's
Definitely.
I
like the
agree.
fashion piece of the, that's like the showcase. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can talk about your wedding and your.
Well, both your
My
wedding.
No, but I mean, so I don't know. Like,
Tell
yes,
us
I
more.
definitely think, a bridal. I wasn't wearing a gown, but.
But I
you
know, attire.
My gown would have gone all the way to the stairs. It was the longest dress of all. It was ridiculously long. But I did my own invitations. I had my cats included on all of my paper goods, and I did
That
it in
is
I thought a
amazing.
classy way where the moms and the grandmas aren't like, that's kind of weird. No one said anything about it because they just knew that that's like part of who I was. But I felt like I did it in an elegant way.
Our goal is to get, when we hear clients saying, "Oh my God, I'm getting all these texts and phone calls about like, oh my God, your invitation, it's so you, it's so original, it's so cool. I'm so excited for the event." Like it's the first impression, and just like, it's almost like a marketing tool to get someone engaged and
Yeah, it
I
sets
think
the
excited.
ambiance.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the
Yeah.
invitation sets the tone and the expectation of what the wedding's
Yes.
gonna be.
Yeah.
Yes, you almost don't need to put dress code on there.
No.
If it's going to
That
be a
is
black
true.
tie wedding, if
Right.
you get a black tie wedding level invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if it feels it and
Yeah.
you open it,
Paper.
and the stamps are a little unique too. Like,
Yeah.
Love vintage stamps.
Yeah, we have our little secret place where we buy vintage stamps from, and that's always fun to dig through and see what new ones that they have. But you have to buy
Yeah,
long
and I think
vintage stamps.
vintage, like vintage drawings, like antique illustrate. I think, I don't know. That really I've always really been drawn to like art history, vintage aesthetic.
Okay, so let's go break down from they get the invitation and then it's pretty much the wedding day, right? Or no, we have wedding
so many other
wedding
things.
wedding websites, right? And you help
Yeah,
with that?
yes, for sure.
Brian is great at programming websites. And most
Yeah.
people, it's a very simple thing that we do, but it is so much nicer than a templated site from Minted, and not something like that. It's exactly like you were able to incorporate like the handwritten names of the couple that they had done in calligraphy, like you factorized it and everything.
Yeah.
I was able to include it on the website, so it was
mean-
all cohesive.
There's, a lot of, especially in LA, I mean, all throughout the country, weddings are like such a special event that people, really invest in those invitations. And, that URL is on the save the date usually, and
Right.
that's going to be like the second impression. So I don't know, that wasn't even like a consideration for my wedding to like go, I don't know if we should say that, but
Yeah.
I guess people invest a lot, starting back, people invest a lot in their invitations in that first impression. And, I think creating a custom website that follows that design aesthetic through, and instead of using a templated site, like if you're investing in invitations, like why not invest in a custom website
I
Right.
agree.
with your own URL
Right.
that like
The
is really
RSVP
fun.
I was just gonna say,
factors
yeah,
are so much
RSVP.
easier
Yeah.
when you do, because we have people that spend, $20, $30 a set on invitations.
Right.
They might not want to pay for an RSVP card, and there's the extra layer of like, do they want the fish or the chicken or whatever.
Yeah.
So what's nice about the sites that we can do is if you're having a rehearsal dinner on one day, a welcome party the other day, the wedding the next day, the brunch the next day, and you need to gather RSVPs for all of those things, it's so nice to just be able to go on a form. It's almost like
So
a contact
true.
form and
Right.
say like click
It's-
and then it feeds into an Excel spreadsheet for the couple. Their planner can deal with that. It's not always me, but it's all in one place, and it's easier to follow up with people because you obviously have their email address. So
That
it
is a
makes
true
it
point with
Right.
that.
very streamlined, and it's
Right.
hard to find I'm not sure off the top of my head which digital invitation sites allow for like multiple day RSVPs. So.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not gonna lie. I did the snail mail RSVP back, and I love.
I know, I kept mine.
I love the like going to the mailbox. I'm like, who came?
Yeah.
Who's coming?
That's what I did. People write little notes on it.
Exactly.
You know, we got like hand drawn.
Yours was a simpler event too. You had two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but going back to the URL, like it's so handy with getting the email, because like say something in the traffic, especially LA, you can do a mass email. The planner.
QR code, they're doing that a lot now too, is the guests all have a copy of this QR code. It has updates on information if things were to change.
Right, and things do change
Oh,
last minute.
yeah.
So it's
And
easy to communicate that out. They can copy paste for their calendar.
And we build them on, like Wix and Squarespace, website builders that are like very easy to hand over to the couple if they need to make last minute updates. But we also, I think usually the case is us kind of following through the event and making updates.
Right.
We really prefer that because we don't need to like have them. Anyways, but yeah, we offer that.
Quality control.
But I think I don't know. I get really excited about like the digital experience and that website and that first impression, and then maybe even seeing the design evolve when the invitations go out. Because my background at Warner Brothers was digital design, UX design, user experience design for like digital products and websites. So when we're working with a couple, it's like starting from the beginning, looking like creating wireframes for the site layout and like what's most important to the couple and how we want the guests to flow through the site.
And just in general, like how refreshing for both of you, because you know that each event or wedding is different.
Yeah.
Too. You're not going to be doing the same old.
Yeah.
No. Let's kind of walk through like, okay, I'm coming to the day of, and I'm going to give an example like best of. Like when we showed up at Best of downtown, your work had a window, like we had window decals from your designs.
Yeah. Very cool. I loved that opportunity because there were just so many cool elements. Like
giant
we had
mirrors
those
when you
giant,
first walked in.
Yeah, we had
the
those
mirrors, the windows.
There was the giant framed mirrors, and then we
Yes.
got a decal to put over it, and all the different paper goods and the everything had like this canvas texture overlay, so it looked like an oil painting, but it was a welcome sign, and
I just think so many
really fun.
couples don't like realize how they can utilize you to bring that graphic, that design into their wedding day more.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the little RSV or the VIP cards that the VIP guests when they first arrive. Like I think that's so special. Matchbooks are always a hit.
Always a hit.
Cocktail
napkins.
The cocktail napkins. Can you
What you're
talk
talking
about the
Bernie and
handwritten
Aaron ones?
Yeah.
My favorite. I love these. So I had a couple of years ago who came to me. This was like 2 or 3 weeks before the wedding, where they're like, "We want to have cocktail napkins where it looks like we scribbled messages to the guests," and I'm like,
"What?
How am I supposed to make this happen before?" Okay, great. So we did it. So I had them write in Sharpie. I think they did 5 or 6 different ones, and it was like, "You look fabulous," or "Drinks at sunset," and in Sharpie, and I had to vectorize it, and we had it printed in matte black foil, so it actually had that kind of sheen that a Sharpie has, and people thought that they really hand wrote them, and it was such a cool detail.
I love that.
I
Such
love
a
that.
personal touch. That's just, that makes your heart happy.
Oh, I want to steal it so
Yes.
bad. That's so good.
Yeah, menus. We love doing menus.
Your menu was one of my favorite ones that we've ever. It was a fold-over menu. The
Yeah.
snakes were so.
It was and then it tucked into the napkin.
It had their name on it. We love doing
Yeah.
that too because a
I
lot of
love
people
that too.
a lot of venues are requiring it
I
now,
did
right?
that.
Assigned seating.
I did that too on the venue.
Yeah.
It's so nice to walk up and you're like, "Oh, here I am. This is my name, and it's right here, and it's pretty." And it's a
Let's
snake
talk
when I
about
open it
like
up.
people love seeing their name at a table.
Yes.
They're like, "Oh, I don't want to worry about assigned seating." No, when you are actually assigned to a seat, it's personal.
Yeah.
Like they want me to sit here for a reason, right?
Yeah, the little escort card with their name on it, that's like the first point. And then they go to the table and they're like, there's a menu with my name on it. And my favorite menu that we've done was for a Paul Smith luncheon.
Oh, yeah, those
And
were fun,
It
too.
was a menu and like, what was the menu?
Well, we did the one at Paramore, and then there was. Oh, we didn't do the ones at Paramore. Sorry, we did the ones at Cielo Farms.
Yeah, so the venue was Cielo Farms, which was like very classical, like, rustic isn't the right
It's
word.
like an Italian
Yeah.
feeling winery. It's in Malibu. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the planner had like a very like a strong vision for like a modern kind of paper goods, like more modern typography driven. And the menus had they had the menu, but then they had a vellum overlay, a black vellum overlay, and then vertically we did each guest's name. In typography, but we set each menu with like their name was different. So, it would be like Amanda, and it was just like
jaggedy kind
yeah,
of.
like it was just like we did like a custom typographical design for each menu, and that was like a huge. We got like everyone kept it. People were posting it on Instagram. It's just like
It was cool because we did a little like metal punch thing and we did a tassel through it.
Yeah.
So you will help combine like different mixed medias with
yeah.
your
Yeah.
invitations
we
and
work
knives.
with
That was
all
paper,
mediums.
vellum, a brass grommet, and then a black tassel.
I love
It
that.
was like
And then
a
it
real,
becomes a conversation piece for people too.
Yes.
It's something for people that are sitting at a table where they may not know everybody. It's something for them to talk about, to break the ice.
Yes,
to,
definitely.
and again, further extends the tone and the ambiance of the event.
yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Let's talk about signage because that's I feel like coming more forward in the last couple of years, and I think it's such a great communication piece too for like cocktail hours over here, especially if you're on a resort, bigger property.
Yes.
Signage is really nice. Well, what are like the key things that you see that's been asked for signage? Is it usually from the planner more than?
It's usually from the planner because they're more logistical brain. And
Yeah.
the bride or groom, whoever, are thinking about what's going to go on the actual table and what the guests are going to see. But the planner is the one thinking about the guest experience of, like, I just did a wedding at Abensoul Winery out in Specula the other day, and like it was kind of confusing once you parked where you were supposed to go. So we
Right.
had a sign, wedding this way, and then they requested the unplugged wedding sign, so they had that like closer to the ceremony. But I'd say directional signage is very important. I'm huge on bar menus.
Yes,
Huge.
bar
I just think
menus.
bar menus are
I
so
love a good
directional.
bar
You want to go
menu
back to
moment.
directional signage? Like,
The
we have to
directional
do that a
signage
lot.
for the pillars that you created that were like faux stone.
Oh, that was the seating chart.
Oh, okay.
That was very very cool. Do that in Joshua Tree where the floral designer had built. They were like wood columns, and she painted it to look like lime wash, so it had a little texture on it. And then we decaled everybody's names, alphabetically on it. There were 3 columns, I think, and we did 3 of the sides. It was very cool because they were all different heights. But that was a really fun project to work on because it looked like it was part of the desert landscape, but
Wow.
it was not. It was where everybody was supposed to sit. So that was a really fun touch.
Escort cards too. Like that's a big thing right now. Like it's almost an installation in a
Oh,
sense
yes.
with that. Are you
Yes.
heavily involved with that design?
We work on the design. We work with some couples who want to work with someone who's already like a fabricator. Like I'm doing an event where Archive actually works with a fabricator, so I'm designing what's going to go on it and send them the file. They're going to do it. That's fine. We work
Yeah.
with people that way. We also, I say, prefer to actually do the putting the things together. Again, quality control, because we
Right.
don't know what it's going to look like when someone delivers it day of. If we're not, because we're both perfectionists.
Yeah.
Can't
Can't
tell.
tell.
A little work. Yeah.
But I think one, I don't know, that just makes me think about, actually, we're supposed to be wrapping up.
It's okay. Let's talk about it.
Keep going.
That makes me think about like, we do, I don't know, this is totally,
It's okay if you want. You feel it. Go for it.
that just makes me think about like, we work with couples who, have a different designer do their main invitations,
And we're fine with that. We don't want to steal what they did, obviously,
Right.
Yeah,
because it's
but-
their design. But we can take the inspiration from that and then.
Yeah, but a lot of really, a lot of high-end luxury stationary designers don't do day of, and they
Right.
don't do websites.
Right.
So, we've had some clients where they have that invitation and we'll be able to pull from those design elements and just really extend that theme, think of creative ways to, really maximize that so that they have those invitations, and then we create a website for them, and then the day of paper goods and the
Yeah.
thank you card,
Yeah.
And a thank you card.
So it's all together.
Okay, last question. So, of course, you see trends all the time and what's currently happening, but like, what would you like to see coming up the pipeline for trends?
I would like to see more color. I know, like the color of the year, Pantone color of the year is Mocha Mousse, which I love. I think it's beautiful, especially in your interiors. But I feel like color at events, color at invitations is so good. It doesn't have to be like the maximalism, like the pink and the green that we did last year at the awards, but just like bold colors that contrast, I think are really fun together. I'm still seeing maximalism a lot in wedding design, but when it comes to the paper goods, I've been seeing more of that, like that hand sketch where you see like the champagne coupe and the candelabras and things like that. So that's cute, but you can buy that on Etsy and everybody's kind of doing that. So if you wanted to do the sketch look, like do your dog, do you know, the night you first met, a sketch of that. Do something that's personal to you instead of just like stock imitation, stock work that you can get on Etsy.
Yeah, and I think we're both always get excited about color and unique color combinations. I think one of the best sources of inspiration is watching a fashion show and just seeing like that color palette that they put together, you know, so that you're not having like an all lavender invitation.
Yeah, that
suite.
unexpected
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Well, you both do unexpected moments with
Yes.
your designs, so your personal designs.
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Well, thanks, Brian and Christine, for sitting with us.
Thank you.
It's been so entertaining, and I'm so full of knowledge, and I could just keep going. So, well, thank you, everybody, for tuning into Wedding Day Podcast. We'll see you next time. See you, bye.
Thank you.
Every day, on, day.